You're listening to another Woodshop podcast, the okayest podcast of its type. Your hosts are Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop, and Braden Boakes of Littlebug Woodworking. You can find them as well as the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
Welcome to episode 215 of another Woodshop podcast, where I'm coming off a week-long bender of sleep deprivation after bringing a beautiful baby girl into this world whose only purpose in life seems to be making daddies not sleep ever again. And then Braden is practically the only person to blame for the breakdancing part of the Olympics being removed for the 2028 games after he taught the Australian ray gun his Oklahoma Thunder routine that she bombed. And then Dan has given up woodworking to pursue his old love, family photography, against his will, however, because 17 years ago he fell for a pyramid scheme called marriage, and now Kayla has the authority to book sessions without him knowing. Anyways, we're back, baby, after a week off. What's up, boys?
I'm sorry, not sorry for the Australian thing. Like, I won't feel bad. She just did it wrong. She went counterclockwise, not clockwise.
The world wasn't ready for that routine. You keep that on the streets where it belongs, not in the Olympic Games. Come on.
Listen, they made the whole movie series Bring It On Again about my life, and then they're going to tell me that it's wrong. I won't stand for this. This is egregious. It's precocious.
Indeed, yes. Yeah. Well, guess what? If they get rid of breakdancing, it's going to open up a lot more different categories of sports for the 2028 Olympics. And you know who will be able to possibly be in the Olympics? Who might put their best foot forward at being who they are to be in the games?
Our patrons?
Yeah, you never know. Patronage might be in the Olympic Games.
Yeah, maybe someday. Maybe in 2057. I don't know. Don't math that. We don't have any new patrons this week.
What?
But I think we didn't lose any, so we're a net positive. I think
Zero-sum game.
Yeah, I think that's called ketosis. We've hit ketosis of the patrons.
Sounds good to me. Let's talk about our
words.
VIP patrons, shall we? Yeah, you guys are using a lot of big words, and I can't keep up with this. FYI, my computer is going real slow. I can't Google that fast right now, so just chill out with the big words, okay?
We gave you the same calendar the two of us have. Every day a new word. This week, Pitocin.
Our VIP patrons, Woodwork and Weld, Jake Miller from A Sweet Shop, Pedro. I think that's Alex Adams. John Herbolsheimer from Living Laugh Woodworks, Luke Bosworth at LJB Makes, Jared LaPuma at LL Builds Woodworking, Tyler Booth at Temecula Yard Games, Henry Lutens at Manfredo Wood, Scotty from Elevated Wood Design, Charlie Coons from Stubby K Studio, Stu Pedasso from Able Builds, Justin from Fraser Canyon Woodwork, Sarah over at Rosie's Wood Shop, Jesse McIntyre from Sage Hill Woodcraft, Michael at Gillette Woodworks, Ed Mankini, that would be Victor's Way, Victor over at Whim Designs, Bits and Nips, I think that is Nick Brim Woodworking. Congrats, Pete and Emma. Welcome to the world, Juniper. That is Redesign Co. See, now that's how you do it.
Good name. It's a good name.
That's how you do it.
Solid.
Nice people.
That's buying a billboard right there.
That's a good Christian name.
Matt Maynard over at Patriotic Pines, Bill Burkle from WTB Woodworking, Jake Coneen at Dobby's Craft House. Oh God. Daniel Dunlap's AWP Peter Kapar Memorial Celebrity Rabies Awareness Pro-Am Fun Round for the Cure. I believe that is Patrick Kinsel. Thank you, Patrick. I needed that badly. Ed Mancini from Mancini Woodworking, Chris at Chris Will Make, Scott Shirk from Red Leg Custom Woodworks, Max and Mindy Coons be twerking at Stubby K Studio, Justin Bailey at Campfire Woodworks, and Kyle over at Four Nances Design Co.
Wow.
Thank
That's
you
one
to every
better-
one of our patrons.
One better than Three Nance Design Co.
Oh, definitely
Four
one better.
Nance. Also, did you know that Justin Bailey's middle name is Quentin? Do with that information what you will.
I do know that, actually.
Wait, is he that Tarantino guy we keep hearing about?
No. He got sued after he tried to go public.
The IPO what tanked?
The IPO tanked. Yes.
Thank you to all of our patrons. If you want to join the army, you can go over to patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcasts. The Patreon website may or may not work for you.
It's
We'll never know.
been shoddy today. But
It is in
Apparently.
the midst of perhaps some high weight, high rep cardio workouts and is just a little sleepy right now.
high weight, high rep.
Yeah.
I don't know how gyms work, so
You wouldn't know what we had to go through to get those names.
Who needs a gym when you got AI? Right, Braden?
that's right.
Right?
I don't. Yeah, look, I'm just trying to catfish every single aspect of my life.
Who are you catfishing? You're not dating
Everybody.
anymore?
Dinner?
I feel like after you lock down a girl, like, who cares?
They do. They care.
Yeah, they do.
Have you ever
Yeah,
had
well,
catfish though? Like
Uh,
actual?
Oh, little
Yes,
catfish
no.
nuggets.
very good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
With the right spice and cooked nice. It's
Mm.
good stuff.
With
Speaking
the
of,
herbs and the spices.
listen, speaking of the perfect catch, Bits and Bits, our sponsor this week.
baby.
I don't know why I'm doing the Italian
name
sign
so
for Bapara Boopy.
Name's so nice, you say it twice.
It's a name so nice you say it twice, okay? Now they listen, Bits and Bits, as we've all been using Bits and Bits for years. They're a US based company. They manufacture all their bits here in the US in the wonderful state of, I believe, Oregon. Am I correct? Yeah, right. Or I believe that's it. Yeah, Oregon. That's right. Oregon. I think
That's
it's
a state?
pronounced. It's a state of mind. It's a state of being. I'm an
And there's
Oregonian.
There's a trail there.
In
Yeah.
the contingent US?
The contingent US. They're the only zero-tuple landlocked state in the US.
Huh.
Nope,
Yeah,
That's
because
not
they're right
right.
up against water.
That's not right.
But they have been in the game for over 30 years doing industrial or in the industry for 30 years, and they've been in the CNC and woodworking world for over 8 years. They manufacture all their bits right here in the US of A, again in the state of Oregon, I think it's called. And they do all their stuff here. It's not like they get stuff from overseas and then they rebrand it here. They do it all here in the US. They make about 80 different spiral bits that are all 1/4 inch shank, and another 20 plus bits of the the 1/8 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch shank, the big stuff. And they've got a lot of great options. And one of their big features is their bits are coated with the AstraHP coating. That it's a proprietary coating that helps the bits run cooler, run faster, stay sharper longer, which is very important because anyone that runs their CNC a lot knows that these things will get hot. And when they get hot, the stuff cakes on there and it gets dull really fast. And then you snap a bit and then you have a bad time. So that's a great feature to have. And of course, they also are a supplier of Whiteside, Festool, Starbond, Collins Tools, and more. So make sure to go check them out and use code AWP at checkout. And once you get your stuff in usually about 2 to 3 days, it all ships via FedEx. If you order the same day before 2:45, they'll probably ship the same exact day, which is awesome. So you'll get it, if you order on a Wednesday, you get it by the weekend. It might be amazing. And use code AWP when you check out and get your bits to you. I don't have I don't know. Get your bits on.
We
What
did.
you did,
I don't know what I did. I don't know what to do with my hands, guys.
what
I'm
you did with
sleep
your hands
deprived.
there made
We-
me super uncomfortable.
we
I'm just gonna
don't-
be honest.
Now we did negotiate, and I think we should tell our listeners that we did negotiate a special deal that if you do use code AWP, not only do you get 10% off your bits, you also get 10% more Astra coating.
Yeah, they do double dip
Yeah,
coating.
Is that a
well, dip.
But
dip
the
that was
second
shit.
dip only retains 10%. That's the feature of the Astra coating because
Interesting.
that's why pitch doesn't stick to it because it's Astra coated.
Well, son of a pitch.
Son of a pitch. Yeah. So make sure to go check out Bits+Bits, baby, but not the other code. This code, AWP.
AWP.
No, baby, just AWP. Well, guys, what's going on? I feel like we skipped a week, and anytime you skip a week, we're always like, what year is it?
Right?
It's been so long.
84 years.
It's been 84 years. It genuinely feels like we have skipped about a month. We dropped out of the top ratings in the US. We're still in the top 100 in Canada and Norway for some reason, but it's been a while. How are you guys?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Dan, how are
okay.
you?
I'm okay.
Dan's rocking
okay.
and rolling.
I'm
Did you French fry when you were supposed to pizza?
I'm mostly rolling.
Because you're gonna have a bad time.
I didn't zig as much as I zagged.
Oh no!
He snapped, skipped, crackled, and then popped.
You don't want to do the pop. That's the key.
Yeah. Well, unless you're locking and then dropping.
Well, but you can prevent that from happening. So Dan, sorry, back to you.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. You lost me. I'm going to be honest.
I'm sleep deprived and Braden's funny. I'm just saying what he's saying.
Oh, he
I don't
thinks
know.
I'm funny.
No, I'm just emulating what the baby does.
Yeah, no, Pete, how are you doing? Let's be honest. That's what
Let's
everybody
talk
wants
about
to know.
Pete. That's
How
why
are
we're
you
here.
doing? How has your first week of dad duty? How has it been?
I guess I should start with this.
What's up?
Oh, that's so low.
What's
Are we doing that already?
I
Oh, my
mean,
goodness.
I guess we're talking about what's happening.
Okay, I guess. Bring it on.
Well,
I got a whole ass baby in my house, and I don't know how I feel about it. It's amazing. It's incredible. I love it. And then also, this child doesn't want me to sleep, which apparently is like a feature of a baby.
yeah,
it's a
they
feature,
don't.
not a bug.
They typically don't want anybody to sleep as long as they're
Yeah.
around. Yeah,
I-
that's the thing.
No, I will be honest though. So first of all, I'm still getting like used to the fact that there's like another human in this house. Because like when you're at the hospital, it's like very surreal. It's, you know, you're there, you got the baby. She's also like perfect. She's freaking beautiful. Her name's Juniper, middle name Rose, last name Badass. In Polish, it's
What's
Kapar.
what's her social security number? Do you got that? On here?
It's 69 420 420 69. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, check it out.
Weird.
It's great. Yeah, it's awesome. We really landed on a good one here. But
did you pay extra for the novelty social security number?
I know a
The
guy.
DMV.
I know a guy. Let's just say her license plates will have like birds and stuff on them. Okay. Yeah, I know
Crazy.
but you know, when you're at the hospital, you're it's like very surreal and everything. And then you come back into your house and you're like, well, I'm back in my house, but now there's this thing here.
Right.
And I got to keep it alive.
I remember when we left the hospital with our first child, we were like, wait, we have to leave? You're just going to let us go with this thing? With this?
You trust us with this?
You've seen how we've acted up until now, right?
This
you're just
48-hour
gonna let us
crash
go?
course isn't enough.
And that's kind of crazy. Like, and I mean, this goes into like this whole other thing beyond just like children, but like we're out there just like making all this up. You have a whole ass human and 48 hours there. They're just like, all right, get going.
You're
like,
good. Go and get.
Loaded up in the car. Were you like, where was your stress level that first car drive home?
It really wasn't. I don't know why. I think Emma was more concerned about it than I was. Because we got a new car this year and I feel very safe in it. It's a bigger car. Like if someone hits me, like we're going to be okay unless it's like something catastrophic. But like the Subaru I had, like if someone hit me, we're going to have a bad time. You know, because they're like low to the ground and like, Subaru. I felt pretty good about that drive. Aside from like just the stress of like, you know, you're holding the baby or installing in a carrier. Everyone tells you that you're gonna, literally everyone was telling me, like official people at the hospital or whatever, that I'm gonna, most parents install the seat wrong. You're gonna do it wrong. You got to take it to an inspection station. Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm following the instructions. It's not that hard, but they make you feel like you're gonna F it up. It's
Yeah.
really
Well,
like,
I didn't understand that either. Installing the seat was super easy,
Yeah.
and
especially with today's technology with the clips and everything.
I just used
Like,
AI.
Yeah, but have you
Super
seen
simple.
like you guys have seen people just like out there in the world
Yeah,
driving, doing things.
yes.
Those people are also installing car seats. So
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's true. Like you look at those people and you're like, how did you make it to whatever age you are?
Yeah.
Like,
How do they
is there
let you drive a
somebody
car?
beside you that reminds you to breathe?
Yeah.
Chew,
Take a
breathe.
deep breath. Just a watch reminder every 10 seconds going on all day.
breathe.
But it's very surreal. The first of all, the hospital we had the baby at was incredible. I've had vacations worse than the service at this hospital. Now, granted, the lack of sleep and all that stuff, that's a different thing, but the service, how much they cared about me and Em and like the baby, and this they made sure like they knew exactly who was working that day. There was a nurse for the baby, the nurse for Emma. They were following up with me. There was food delivered to the room. Like I was like, oh my God, this is like incredible. I don't leave reviews often. I left a review. I gave him like, it was like 12 out of 10, even though Google only says 5. But I was like 12 out of 10. This is awesome. And like they were just really nice. They would check in with us at night and be like, hey, let's make a plan for tonight. And I'd be like, I'd want her to get some sleep. She's exhausted. They'd be like, okay, we'll take her to the nursery and we'll bring her over when she's ready. I'm like, I love you guys. You're amazing. And we took full advantage of it.
You took advantage of that. That's good.
We did. Yeah. No, we got her a bunch during the day, but we wanted to take advantage of like, I wanted Emma to get rest.
Yes.
Like
Pros.
Not
Don't
to get
be
too
like
far into the details.
super parent and be like, no, I got it. No, let them take the child to the nursery.
Like, so basically the baby, it all started podcast night last week. So that's the reason we skipped. So like the baby came really late at night, early morning. So we were exhausted. We got almost no sleep today, that whole day. So we needed the rest. We got home. Emma's mom's staying with us for about a week or so. And it's nice to get the extra support. I will say this. I was getting myself very mentally prepared for absolute worst case scenario. Like miserable, cannot think, and it could still come, right? But miserable, cannot think, I hate this whole situation. What would I do with my life? Why did I have this baby? Type of stuff.
It's not that bad.
Because that's what, I love you all out there, but some of you guys are buttholes and you're like, ha, enjoy sleep now with the evil hands.
Yeah, I can't stand that.
I love you all, but you guys suck. Don't make me feel bad. And honestly, listen, I'm sleep deprived. It's really tough. When I'm, holding her and she's crying and the only thing that she needs is to be fed. I need to wake up Emma if she's taking a nap or whatever. Like if I feel bad, I don't mind changing the diapers. Honestly, she's cute as all heck. The butt is cute as heck. Like babies are cute, and she's now the last 2 days gotten to the point where like she can exist awake without crying or feeding or whatever. First 5 days, real boring. They just sleep or cry or feed or poop. That's it. Now she's actually just like existing and looking at me, and I'm, love this kid. Love this kid already. It's gonna be great. I'm not gonna get too deep into it because I'll get all emotional, but I'm really excited for this, and she's doing well, and Emma's doing great. Like the baby's healthy, Emma's healthy. That's all I freaking care about. And the best part is, guys, I'm off from work, like completely off from work for the next 11 weeks still.
Forever.
Woo! And I straight up, I logged out of Zoom for work that we use, out of Teams. I removed stuff off my dock on a computer. I left group chats, the one with my boys, the one with my boys and my boss, the one with just my boss, like all of the group chats. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out of here. And no one's reached out to me, and it's been a week, and it's been kind of amazing. So it's been
my
good.
prediction still stands. I'm still keeping.
And I really hope you're right. So the nice thing is the first couple of days, obviously, we were like, I'm not doing anything. But the last 3 or 4 days, we kind of gotten to the point where like in the middle of the day, Emma's just hanging out with the baby. There's nothing to do. Like food is cooked. We're ready to just hang out. And I'm like, I'm going to go outside and work, like do some landscaping or get in a shop. And Emma's like, yeah, go ahead. She's sleeping anyway. So who cares? You don't have to stand around. So I'm actually getting like 3 to 6 hours a day to like get away already. And I think once we get into a rhythm of things a little better, not that you get a perfect schedule with a kid, but like a rough schedule.
The rhythm of the night.
Es arriba eso night. Yeah, exactly. And once you get like, I'm hoping we're gonna get into more of a steady rhythm. My main goal is I want to try to get this kid more on a rough schedule so that she's coming to maker camp, because she's gonna be 2 months old at maker camp, and the goal is to bring her with, and she's gonna sleep in the same house as you guys. So I don't want a miserable crying child the whole time and keeping your drunk butts up, late at night. But
I'll be fine.
Yeah, Dana and I know how to make that happen. Like, we need to sleep. We know what to do. We've been doing this for a minute.
You'll get up at 3 a.m. to take your shower, Braden, and then I'll be like rocking her in my arms. Like, oh, what's up, bud?
Yeah, it's gonna be just real damage to it.
While Nick is passed out on a couch, just like listening to all the crying. But guys, things are good. I'm pretty tired. It's already it's literally 10 minutes to midnight. We're probably gonna do this for another hour, and then I'm probably gonna stay up with the baby for a little bit. So it's okay. Just gonna be a little tired, but I wouldn't trade this for anything. I'm so stoked.
Well, and here's the thing too is, and you talked about like everybody telling you guys like, oh, get the sleep now and you're never gonna sleep and all that, and that's fine and that's true. And the three of us, we're all fairly similar. Like, we've got some pretty unhealthy sleep schedules anyway, just as adults. I told my wife when we had Gabby that anything up to 3 a.m., like, I got it 100% of the time. Same thing, because I'm already up there anyway. I don't sleep, and I think it's probably the same for you. Like, we're all used to working on a lot less sleep than some people are, so it doesn't affect us as bad.
I told Kayla, do not wake me up. Do not involve me in any of this. I want nothing to do with this.
Dan is a classic dad, like a classic 60s, 70s dad.
I kid.
I will say, and I don't mean to talk poorly of any fathers out there or anything like that. I think it's a generational thing for a lot of people, but like, I can't imagine a mom doing this solo with the husband or partner being completely out of the picture. Like, just like ignoring it. Like, no, I don't change diapers. I don't do this. I don't whatever. Like, Emma was exhausted. She was shot for like 3 or 4 days. Like, I can't imagine not helping out with all that stuff.
Back when we had our first child, I was still working second shift at the factory that I worked in. So I was awake super late anyway. So I would take care of the baby up until like 3-4 a.m. because I was awake anyway. And then, I was the in-home daycare until about 2 p.m. And then I took her to the daycare, and she's only in daycare for like an hour. So it was pretty nice system we had.
I've been doing my research. Daycare is expensive. Oh my God.
Daycare is super expensive.
2 weeks ago, we went off daycare. We are officially done paying for daycare. And let me tell you,
no wonder why you have all this extra money to buy things.
Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Oh, no wonder he bought all those ribs for his birthday. Right? You can afford meat.
we just bought a Ferrari just to have it around. That's how much daycare is.
Dude, it's my research is mostly like people talking about it on TikTok, because my entire feed is just kids stuff. People are paying like $12,000 to $20,000 a year, and for some of them, it's not even all day. It's like 8 to 12, or who gets out of work at 12? Like, it's nuts. That's 4 hours a day.
We have a good friend that lives near Boulder, Colorado, and she basically just quit her job to stay at home with the child because like the childcare was more expensive than what she made.
That was one of the reasons we brought Emma on board a year ahead of the baby coming.
Why pay for childcare when you're actually losing money?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
So rough. So
the trick is to get your daycare on Temu or these days, TikTok shop.
TikTok shop.
Yeah, I'm all
TikTok
about
shop au pair.
Daycare eligible for commission. Guys, things are good. We're doing well. Just a little tired. I'm really excited because I'm going to be tackling I already started making some plans for the next couple of weeks. So, like, I'm giving myself 2 weeks to like really bum around the house with the baby. And then after that, I want to go into full like holiday mode, holiday prep, getting the shop up and running, getting some new products out there, getting some old products back up on the site and on Etsy. So we'll see. We'll check in every week and see how we're doing. And it's funny because I've had a couple people ask me like, "Hey, how do you like restart your shop after a vacation, or like when you go to a holiday mode, or how do you do like how do you jumpstart your shop or do this or that?" I'm like, well, let's all do it together because I'm doing it right now. My shop's been just coasting. I get sales every week, but it's like nothing major, and I'm trying to bump it back up to where I was 2 years ago to get nice little kickstart and hopefully prove Dan right. Where in November I'll be like, hey guys, I'm not coming back. That'll be really nice. Or I come back, but then I'm like the whole time I'm like, I'm leaving soon. So I'm just here for the insurance.
Just here for the Christmas bonus.
Just here for the Christmas bonus. Yeah, I do not work for that kind of company.
What about the Christmas party?
Pension?
Mm-mm.
Union benefits?
Christmas ham?
Free healthcare?
Yeah, even our cost of living adjustment is under par.
Good Lord.
But you know
Why
what?
even stay there.
It gives me a lot of freedom in time and things. So
That is important.
There's benefits, definitely benefits. But anyways,
Fringe benefits.
guys, I'm sorry. I'm just going off on a tangent here. I'm doing great. I'm getting some work done on the property. It's not important. The baby's here. That's all that's important. Dan, I want to hear more about your week or weeks, 2 weeks. Don't focus on today. I know you had a rough day. Focus on the 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we're not going to talk about today.
Imagination.
Things are still super busy, obviously. Busy enough that I've actually started pulling things off of my Etsy store because I just cannot keep up.
The always be listing guy is pulling listings.
Well, I'm deactivating them. I'm not deleting them.
Still
They're
listing new
there.
ones, taking old ones off.
Ooh.
Well, I'm taking off stuff that I can't keep up with. Things that are actually selling, but I can't keep up with them, unfortunately. And we will get into that in more detail later down the road. But right now, it's still a little fresh, and I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, my weeks are the same old record. There's nothing new under the sun over here, unfortunately. I don't have anything to add. Braden, please help me out here.
Well, I was worried for a little bit there. For a couple of weeks, I was in coast mode, prepping for Pete and Emma's baby to show up. So, I was getting mentally prepared for that. And then something in like the last week just like popped off. So I've got a lot of stuff going on. I've been getting a bunch of Etsy orders, which has been cool because I don't do a ton of Etsy stuff. I don't list a bunch of stuff, but I've been going through my craft box of like just kind of permanently their projects. So like when I've got scrap wood or whatever, I'll make stuff and I just chuck it in these totes, and that's what I take to craft fairs. And so I've been unloading a bunch of those things and listing them on Etsy, and then they sell. And of course, in typical fashion, I sell the version that I list as like you can buy this option or customize it this way. They only buy the ones that I don't already have made. So that's what I'm working on there.
Scarcity yields, what is it, like demand?
The heart grow fonder.
No, it just makes the demand go up. It's false scarcity. Like, these are really in high demand. I don't have these to stock all the time. That's the one I want. That's it. Yeah.
Give me that. Give me those ones. Yeah, I've been working on some digital files also. I have my one digital file. It's that whiskey smoker, the 2-part magnetic one that I designed. And that is just selling. I'll get a sale every 2 or 3 days, and it's not a lot of money, but it's like a constant little dribble. And everybody knows a constant little stream, that's what wrecks your foundation and causes like $40,000 in damage. So I want to get a couple more of those up. I've been working on my first 3D model. I've been working in Fusion. Pete, you kind of helped me on the stoop with that. I've got this idea for a product that I'm almost done with. And now I'm at the point where I'm at like a testing phase. And so I'm trying to figure that out. But 3D modeling is, once you kind of figure out where stuff is, Fusion's not super hard. And I say that as somebody that just makes a bunch of circles and makes them tall or short. So it's probably harder than I'm making it or easier than I'm making it. I'm not sure, but I'm doing some product development. I'm still waiting for that really big laser job to get approved from corporate, but the same company hit me up and said, "Hey, we have a rush job that we need, and can you do this other laser job?" And I of course said yes without thinking about it. And so anybody that saw my stories, I got 2 pallets of wooden boxes delivered to my place this last week. So I unpalletized those so that I could get my wife's car back in the
I
garage.
wasn't
because-
expecting Uline. I don't know why I was expecting like an Asian company. Like I thought you were getting them from overseas, and then I see Uline boxes.
Yeah, they sent me a picture and I knew it was coming from Amazon or like just somewhere, but it's what they are is they're these big pine, not big, but they're like 8x8x3 pine boxes with a slide out lid. Like it's real basic. And it's the sort of thing, the rendering that they sent me has like a foam insert, and then it's like maple syrup and something like 2 little bottles, and they're just like little corporate gifts. So I'm putting a logo on top,
I'm literally looking at them right now.
and it's yeah. So I started going through like Uline. You can get all sorts of stuff from them, like anything you want. But I got these pallets, and they showed up. Speaking of which, if anybody wants to build like a $6,000 table out of pallet wood, I've got 2 in the back of my truck. You can have them for free. I don't know what to do with them, but
Ooh, I just found it on. These are like decent little things. I
They're-
just found them on the Uline site.
yeah, they're nice little boxes.
Did you get them from Uline, or you bought them from a vendor that used Uline to ship them to you?
The customer ordered them and had them shipped from
Oh.
Uline to my house.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so the product just shows up, and then I deal with a pile of boxes that's taller than me. Like my shop is a death trap right now. One false move, and I've got an avalanche of Uline boxes.
Have you thought about expanding into Aretha's side of the garage?
I have. I think about it every single day. But the problem is I like being married a lot, and I also like breathing a lot. And I go into Aretha's side of the garage after building a wall to keep me out. And those things become not guaranteed. Like they're optional. And so
Breathing?
breathing, being alive, being married, like
I like
all
how
the good
the
things in
only
my
two
life.
options are wealthy and single, or okay and married.
Listen, I'm just trying to make this whole thing work. Life. I'm trying to make this whole thing called life work. But so I started working on those today. You know what's a real bummer, Pete? So when we did that production episode and we talked about like the more you have to handle something, the more your prices have to go up and all that. I bumped up my prices a little bit. Like we're talking like maybe 12%, and it's just based on the size. It's a bigger logo. I figured there's going to be more time. And I'm okay with it because they're a good customer and they're a good repeat customer. But I did not account for the fact that I can't do 36 of this box at a time. I can do 8 at a time. And I'm going to have to do a lot more handling. So
That's about 4 times less.
that is,
you're charging the same for shipping, but more for handling.
I'm charging the same, but I should be charging more for handling. So kind of bummed about. I'm not really bummed. It's just one of those things like when they finally showed up and I actually saw the size, it's like I done played my cards wrong.
I saw the size.
So laser job that started. Got the car show this weekend. I actually took a position as the marketing director for the Omaha Hope Foundation, which is a newly created nonprofit that's based around connecting not victims, people with cancer, raising money, creating events, creating awareness, things like that. All the good things that nonprofits do. And so the first event, it's my buddy Kurt, and he started the nonprofit because his wife was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer this year. And so he's not a sit and just deal with sit and salt kind of guy. He's a doer. So he created a nonprofit, and in like 2 months built a car show that is happening this weekend that has space for like 450 cars. And so he asked me if I could help with some of the social media stuff and helping with the foundation. And so I'm doing that. I'll have a booth out there. Most of my proceeds are going to go to to the nonprofit. So I've been doing a lot of car themed products, just designing stuff with logos, not trademark infringement or anything like that.
No, you never.
A lot of Jeep stuff. I'm part of the local Jeep club, so I'm kind of pandering to my people. I know what they like, so doing a lot of stuff with that. And then last thing, because I'm just rambling at this point, I got some clamp rack sort of thing. I've been dreaming of having like a panel glue up station in my shop for like a year, and Dan has had to listen to me talk about like hanging black pipe from the ceiling using like the all the adapters, and maybe using like a 1/2-inch pipe. I'm making a lot of weird hand gestures. I just realized using like 1/2-inch with like 3/4-inch T so that it could all slide inside, and basically building an apparatus for like long pipe clamp.
What kind of pipe are you using?
Black pipe.
Okay, cool. Just keep going.
Yeah. And so out of the blue, like a year ago, something pops into my feed on Instagram, and it's a company called RS Tool Company. And this guy is basically building a much fancier version of what I've been trying to figure out how to make exist.
And it's super solid.
And it is rock solid. Check him out. It's called the Clamp Companion. And he sent me some because I reached out and I'm like, hey, I'm going to order these either way, but I'd love to test them out and kind of learn a little bit more about them. And he sent me some. These things they're milled from aluminum, and they are just rock solid. And what they do is they're a mount that mounts onto your wall, and then you get 2 little adapters that go onto your black pipe. And
does it have to be black pipe? Can it be?
It could probably be any other color of pipe. Black pipe's the only thing I use for pipe clamps.
Copper.
I don't know if copper would be strong enough.
Not with that attitude.
No, I don't think it would.
Yeah. Plus it gets stolen all the time. Crackheads.
Yeah, they break into your shop, take the copper pipe, leave all the tools.
Every time this happens, I'm always like, I could have brought that up in my what's on my bench. Somebody broke into my daughter's car.
Wait, what?
It stole nothing. Yeah.
It stole nothing?
Wait, you didn't even tell.
Made a mess.
You
they
didn't
just
even
made a mess in the
that.
car. I know. It wasn't like a big story point in the day. Like it was like, oh,
what?
Yeah, make sure you lock your car door, I guess.
What the heck else was happening that day that being broken into wasn't really that big a deal?
They didn't take anything. They just pulled everything out, and they were like, oh, there's nothing in this
in
car.
The driveway, on the street?
On the street.
On your street?
Out on these
streets.
So
yeah.
Dan's had multiple murders, a death.
Just one.
Oh, sorry. A death and a murder.
Death. Come on.
Wait. No, I thought there was the avalanche guy, and then there was that
across the street guy with the car running.
The guy across the street didn't die.
And then also the guy just hanging out just a couple houses away from you, drinking on a curb.
My neighborhood sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the entire
does. And it's really nice. It's really nice. It's a nice neighborhood. I've been there. No red flags. But Dan, the story writes itself.
Yeah, the entire crime statistic for Omaha, Nebraska really just happens in a 1-block radius of Dan's house.
Apparently.
Also, I would love to watch like CSI Omaha on AMC 7 or whatever.
It would be gripping, I'm sure.
We found corn in his anal cavity. They always find something in their anal cavity.
It was definitely lupus. Wait, no, that's house.
I'm
But
sorry.
anyway,
Braden.
yeah. So,
Continue.
no, it's fine. So yeah, so I got these. The clamp companion. I literally just ordered more heavy duty piping so that I could have do my big long panel clamps. But now I got to figure out where I'm going to put these. And the upsetting part is the best place means I'm going to have to move my clamp rack wall again, and this will be like the 5th time I've moved several 100 pounds of clamps in my shop to somewhere else. So I might just put these things on the ceiling at this point, just hang them up there and climb around. And
How many garage doors do you have?
19.
2, I've got a double wide and a single that's Aretha's, and I'm not allowed to touch that one.
You're double deep, right? Giggity?
I'm double deep on one, and then
Giggity.
I'm 2 wide, and the
Okay.
one is technically a deep.
Okay. Because the double...
Braden's the
I'm
king of his double wide.
I know, I'm
trailer.
trying to think. It's like I enclose the one garage door for me completely as
Yep.
like a wall. And it's
Mhm.
nice because I have a wall to put stuff against. The other thing I did is between my 2 garage doors where all the rails run and stuff, I literally built a wall. So I have a 5th wall in my shop, which is actually a question we got from Tama.
Braden,
A 5th wall.
you've already removed your garage door opener, haven't you?
No, garage door openers. Oh, for Braden or me?
Yeah, Braden.
I removed-
Every time I go over there, you open it manually.
Yeah, I removed mine when we were fixing some stuff on the rental property. So the whole plan is I'm going to get one of those like sidewinder jack screw. I'm making a lot of weird hand gestures tonight. I'm going to get one of those like side mount.
YouTube.com/anotherwoodshop podcast. See all the hand gestures.
I'm going to get one of those side mount openers at some point. I thought about ordering it this week with my found money, and then promptly bought other stuff. So
You can build artificial walls in your shop. Artificial meaning like a wall in the middle of a space as well, just to like create a U of a section instead of having a, one wall and a 90 and then a long wall all the way to the garage door. You could put a wall section, like let's say you have a CNC on one side and then maybe like your desk is on the other. You want to get a little division there, and you could mount it to that, frame it out so it's strong enough.
Or hear me out. Put a wall on walls, or a wall on wheels.
A wall on wheel.
A wheel of wall.
Sorry, I got walls on the brain.
Walla wheel.
Walla
Walla.
Wallington.
Do you guys remember that TV show Walla Walla Island or whatever that was?
No.
With the giant frog.
No.
Okay, that was back in like post Barney, but like when they had those giant like guys in costumes or people in costumes, and it's from like
was that when you were in the cult?
Nope. That
Grew up
was
on a
actually
different
after
continent.
I was
Wouldn't have
outside of that generation or like that type of movie. It was like Barney, but for like my younger brother sort of thing. I'll send it to you guys. Well, or I won't. I'll probably forget. But anyway, giant frogs, man, tripping balls.
But
yeah, maybe I probably need to figure out storage because I just keep piling stuff up. And at this point, maybe just a wall in the middle of the shop is the way to do it.
Some of the best advice that will never leave my brain when it comes to garages is from Shannon Rogers. I heard it on Wood Talk.
Oh God.
Whatever. But I'll give him this one little bit of advice: is your shop has 4 walls, and most people think it's just left, right, back wall, and then the garage door, right? But like Shannon was like that. You can put a wall there. If you have a double wide opening like you do, Braden, half of it could be a artificial wall you build, and you put stuff on top of that. Like, and the door just goes over it and under it, like just doesn't touch it. But you have an extra wall to put stuff on top of.
What if your shop is just one big wall?
like a galley shop?
Getting into meta real deep now.
No, it's just like one thick wall.
A girthy shop.
Yeah, it's just
welcome
one
to the
giant,
welcome to the
girth stubby zone. Wall. Somebody just put a wall in there. Think of all the storage you could have.
Like a stubby K-shaped wall. Maybe a studio apartment.
I can't even with you
Crazy.
guys.
But yeah, so that's a bunch of other stuff happened, but I mean that's the highlights. But I've had a very busy 2 weeks. We can't take weeks off because I just pile stuff on and then I just talk for half an hour. So
Actually, well, Dan, what did you do with that extra time that you got from not having to record the podcast? Those extra 7 hours that we usually take on a Thursday
Bro,
night.
I've just been working my tail off trying to get Etsy orders done. It's all I do anymore.
Do you feel like you got a little more caught
rinse
up?
and repeat? No.
I took off a week for nothing. I could have recorded from the hospital.
Man, my life is just the same day on repeat. I'm living Groundhog Day over and over and over. I feel like I'm about 10,000 years into my Groundhog Day.
We got to get a unique project in there. We got to
I
get
do,
some kind
but
of new thing in
I
there
absolutely
for you
do, and
to get a
I have
little-
ideas for quote unquote unique projects, but like I don't have time for them. I've spent the last couple weeks working on these stupid beds trying to get them out because somebody ordered them. And FYI, long story short, I took those beds off my Etsy store. Like I don't have time for them. They
Big job.
they take up way too much time. As much as I like making them because they are super cool, I can't keep up with things and do both. So, and my summer help just quit showing up. So like,
What?
yeah,
kids these days just don't want to work.
apparently.
Dan, you need an adult in that shop.
Yeah, you need like a grown ass person that's looking for work. Like not
I do.
some
I really do.
summer intern.
I really do.
Some
I really do.
disgruntled, like a Dale.
A Dale?
Yeah.
Guy that
it
needs
just-
like just a
I need
couple
a-
too many smoke breaks, but he
Yeah.
makes up for
Daryl.
it with caffeine in the morning.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he needs a lot of breaks, but also like he gets way more work done. Like he gets there and he's outside your shop since like 5 a.m. Like, oh, finally. Like he makes you feel bad for showing up to your own business late.
Guy that
Just
keeps
Sitting
talking about like
outside, eyeing
that
my
keeps talk-
family through the windows.
yeah, a guy that keeps talking about like getting his union benefits started.
But he's anti-union. That's the thing. He's got to be anti-union, but also like want more rights.
Ooh, like some guy that just stands outside and while you guys are working grumbles about how people don't want to work anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? At this point, Dan, you know what Dan needs? Dan needs
Somebody.
at this point just somebody. Like, right? Like he just needs someone to help him out.
I
Dan,
need somebody or something. That's for sure.
Dan, you sell a decent number of those beds. What if instead of unlisting them, you know a couple of woodworkers in Omaha? What if you just outsource those?
I know. We've been over this, and we've talked about how I don't like handing over control.
He's a
I'm,
control freak.
Yeah,
He's a freak, all right.
His whole
real
life
bro.
is a safety word.
Super
it's real,
freak.
bro.
Super freak.
Yeah.
Dan's
All right.
safety word is just heavy breathing.
All right. Well, speaking of heavy breathing, let's get into questions because we're
Please and thank you.
gonna run real late otherwise. So let's do, I guess, this one.
Oh, Black Betty, ram lamb.
And I guess let's start with Tomas' question because it's kind of on par with what Braden was asking.
Also, Toma, where you been,
Tomas'
buddy?
bag. Tomas was on holiday, not to be confused with the holidays, plural.
Oh,
Holiday.
I thought they just
is
celebrated Christmas over there differently.
Holiday is just what they call vacation. And
Wait.
in Europe, they take a month off in like between June and August.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that-
they just
Is that normal? They just take a month off?
like in August, most companies in Europe are just like shut down
Why do I live here?
because
I
don't know.
thought going on holiday was like 3 days straight.
No, they get 30 days straight. No, but we live
Damn
here
it.
because we have
Freedom.
Freedom.
occasion, we have freedom, we have guns, and then we also have like mayo, right? Like that. I don't think they have mayo in Europe.
I'm gonna be
Maybe
honest.
Europe.
You can have a month off of work, or you can have like true Southern cooking chicken fried steak.
I'll take the fried steak.
Give me that fried
just
steak.
Saying, just saying.
All right.
All right, here's a question from Thomas.
Hey guys, I have two
two questions for you tonight. Yes, two. I mean, I haven't been there for a while, so... Okay, number one. Am I the only one that find it really hard to go back to work in the shop after the holidays?
I
Because
find
I
it hard to go in
really...
there after a couple hours.
doing anything.
And number two, I'm still working on my new shop layout. The floor is almost done, and I'm considering encasing a corner of my shop to hide and protect all the stuff that keeps my home warm during the winter, like the water heater and the propane boiler. It also gives me a wall to put my wood lights against. In that corner, I can fit my DIY dust collection, but I'm worried of the potential dust going into the propane boiler. And even if I haven't seen any dust ever come from the dust bag, and I have already made a lot of dust in the shop while the boiler was running, what do you think? I'll send you guys picture of that corner, so it will, well, it might help you visualize, see my problem. And yeah, I almost forgot. Congrats, Pete, for the cute baby. Should we call you Daddy Pete? Daddy P? DP? Oh wait, no, that's not right. Sorry. Allez, bye.
Oh, first of all,
Hello,
thank
all my
you.
bros. Plus Peter.
Sorry. Next question. Sorry.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's Alex. Don't
We
worry
took
about
a
it.
week off,
Don't
so
worry about
things
it.
are a
Yeah,
little rusty.
First of all, Tomas, thank you. I appreciate it. You should refer to me as P Daddy or Pete Daddy, whatever works for you. Definitely not PD, DP, whatever, because that's just when it's Dan and Pete doing a show. It's been a while.
That's I thought it.
Hey, don't worry about what it. Don't look at it. Don't look
Okay.
it up. Don't look it up. So first of all, how to get back into the swing of things after vacation or after a holiday? The few times when I've taken a planned vacation, but I was working on something or I had some plans or a to-do list, I will literally leave a to-do list for myself or where I left off on something, like in notes or even like a video recorded, like, hey, this needs to get done with this, whatever. So when you come back, you actually kind of hit the ground running. I've done it all of like 3 times, but anytime I do, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I can hit the ground running. I can get it done. Most times I just come back and I'm the same. I'm just like, what do I do with my hands? And I'm actually in that position right now. I don't know what to do in my shop, so I'm just doing landscaping and stuff in my shed and like around the property and honey-do list stuff around the house because I feel like I'm like just a little lost. But you just got to keep doing stuff. You get back into the swing of things by doing things, and you do things for fun for a little bit. I think we talk about this when people are trying to like, hey, how do you get inspiration in a shop? Do something for yourself. F content, like screw content for a little bit. Just make it for yourself, like accomplish some things, make yourself happy, and then worry about what Instagram thinks. And then your other thing. So I'll summarize this question. He's refinishing his shop. We had a question from him a couple of weeks ago about him putting in a new floor or a subfloor in his shop. But he has a section of his shop that has mechanical. So like a boiler, maybe a furnace, something like that. And he doesn't want it to get too dusty. So he's thinking about enclosing that.
In the picture, it looks like a hot water heater, maybe.
It might be a hot water heater, yeah. So he's looking to enclose it, and he's still worried about it, obviously getting dust in there and whatnot, but he's already been getting dust on it. However, building a wall or a room around it would give him another wall to put tools up against. And he's kind of thinking like, what do you guys think? Like, is this a good idea? Should I do it? I say 100% yes. Build a room around it. Put some kind of big filtration, like basically windows that you can put filters in so that there's still air filtration in there, but you're not getting to find sawdust stuck in the filter for, obviously with a hot water heater, especially if it's like gas, there's a live flame going all the time. So you want to be careful with like a lot of fine particulate dust because you don't want to start any kind of fire. But anytime you can add an extra wall in your shop to put tools up against, hang tools up on, or jigs or whatever, or even some whatever on a wall. Sometimes we just like banners and things. It fills up the space. You're able to utilize it a lot better. I highly recommend it, and it's also going to help out a lot with your mechanical space because you're not going to have to worry about fire starting or things getting too dirty in there. Braden, what do you think?
Well, what I think is that I like my particulates like I like my wife. Fine.
Jesus Christ.
Oh!
I thought you were going to say thick. I like particulates thick. That way they're harder to breathe. No?
Hard.
Oh, okay.
Well, that somehow that one derailed me. For like the getting started part, this is just like my one ADHD tip. When you're getting started, and if you do what Pete does and you've got like a list of things to do and a whole bunch of stuff, it can be very overwhelming. Put a couple like just stupid easy things on there so that you can start checking done or like crossing it off. Like, whatever satisfies your needs to like get your serotonin flowing. Put some easy, super easy accomplishable goals so that you can just start checking it. And it makes it a lot easier to move on to like some of the harder stuff and get further down the list. So, you don't have to start reinventing the wheel. You could just go out and be like, yep, I like it out here again. So,
And if you're watching the video, you can see Pete showing off his lists.
Literally, this is my honey-do list of like, when will the baby finally come? Because she was 10 days late. So I just kept making lists and adding things to it and crossing them out and then color coding them for inside the house, outside the house, basement, second
Want to know
floor.
how I know you're a nerd?
nerd.
I can literally prove I get laid. Okay, so calm down.
Well, I can't do for that matter. That's
I don't know. Juniper's
the nice
still kind
thing
of
is,
in that like doesn't look like anybody stage.
Yeah, right. Blue eyes. No one's got blue eyes. What's happening? But like, I can look at this list and go like, oh, I did mean to do that thing, and I can do that now because my brain works again. Except I'm just sleepy, but my brain works. Whereas like leading up to it, I was like, I don't know what time is. When will the baby get here?
The best part about this question, or like this part A of this question, is we're not even talking about like the shop. We're talking about all of our ADHD hacks.
Oh yeah.
Let's get into body doubling, guys.
Here's
Let's
how
get
I
into
stay
that.
focused.
I don't have any ADHD hacks.
Here's 12 steps on how 12 steps, forget it.
I drink a lot.
Yeah,
That's how I handle my ADHD.
Dan's just out here raw dogging ADHD. For the building a room, I mean, yeah, you want to keep dust away from any sort of flames, but there's plenty of, and God, this is not advice to really build this whole plan around, but there are a lot of people doing a lot of shifty stuff with like hot water heaters in garages and things like that. So anything that you do, the fact that you're even considering it is probably going to be better safety wise than what a lot of people are getting away with. So build a wall, do what Pete said, build
the wall.
Build the wall.
And you can get, never mind.
This makes me think of that whole what's the difference between me and Superman? He has supervision. I require supervision.
That took me a second. It's like,
But
wait
yeah,
a minute.
but
Why do you require supervision?
build some space
What are you
around
doing?
it, get some filtration, just get some filter, just the big air, like for like an air conditioner. You guys have air conditioners over in Europe, right?
No, they don't.
The big filters for those.
No.
Oh, well,
They
here in
don't have
America,
humidity. They haven't invented that yet.
here in America, we like to keep our houses the same temperature that ice boxes are kept.
I wish I had
I've
the eagle
seen-
screech when you said America.
I've seen Lord of the Harry Potter.
Lies?
Like
Lord of the Harry Potter.
they put their houses into the ground so that they stay
Oh,
cool.
you've
Yeah.
seen The Hobbit.
Lord of the Hobbit. Yeah.
Welcome to the Shire.
Hey guys,
Dan?
it's Dan from Shire Custom Woodworks. We make round doors.
Oh God, I could barely make a square door. Can you imagine?
My God.
Dan, what do you have to add here?
I agree. Build a wall. God, I don't want to. I hate saying that. But build a wall just for the extra storage, like we were talking about before. However, and this is not like actual advice. This is just my opinion. I don't think you're creating enough dust for that to be a problem. with a pilot light. I really don't think you're creating enough dust. But that, like I said, that's my opinion. That's just how I see the world. As far as how do you get back into the swing of things after a vacation, I've really never had that problem because I'm always like super energized after
He's
a good
never
vacation.
unslung. Dan's never taken a vacation.
Dan's never taken a break.
I've taken vacations. I've been around. But I'm always super energized and I feel like, man, that's exactly what I needed. I'm ready to just like jump back into my shop. So I've never really had that problem. But, I'm not. Does it sound like a brag? I feel like I'm bragging. I'm not bragging. It's just the truth.
It's fine.
Why don't you
know you're better
Dan,
than us. That's okay.
Dan, listen, we get it. You're out there woodworking in your shop and you've got way bigger crowd sizes than we do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got.
You don't have to compare.
Build the
but yours is
wall.
bigger. All right.
Dan's shop is all AI generated.
Right, next questions from Rosie's Woodshop. Sarah's calling in.
Hey girlies, I know you're not recording this week, so this will be for next week. But this is Sarah with Rosie's Woodshop, obviously. I posted a YouTube video of how to make pen blanks. I don't know YouTube at all. I don't really know what to include. I guess I should spend some time looking at other people's videos. But my question is, you make vertical stuff for Instagram, but then YouTube is horizontal, so you can't really use videos for both. So does that mean half the time I'm going to be recording for YouTube and the other half the time I'm recording for Instagram and TikTok? Let me know your thoughts. And yeah, hope you guys had a good week off. And Peter, hope the baby's all good. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh my God. Well, first of
Okay,
all,
bye.
thank you. Second of all, now you understand why we hate this. Why we hate all of this. Because one platform takes vertical, the other one takes horizontal. It sucks. That being said, if you're good at content creation, which let's be real, none of us are, you would
Clearly
record
not.
long form video and then you clip that long form 1080p video down. That's why sometimes you'll see people's content that's good but kind of blurry. It's because they cropped their 1080p horizontal video down to vertical. Go ahead with Dan. Dan's got something to
No.
add.
Continue.
Okay. They crop it down and that's their Instagram, TikTok video. It's just clips from their YouTube video. And in most cases, it's fine. Some people will actually shoot in 4K with the express idea of, hey, I'm going to frame this down. I want to make sure that when I zoom in on sections, because when you zoom in on 4K video, you're still getting better than 1080p quality. So some people do that. That being said, 4K videos file sizes are enormous, although they're getting a little more manageable nowadays with devices having more storage and more RAM and all that stuff. But it's a slog. It's a lot of work. You're not wrong. First of all, congrats on posting that first video. That's a big leap. But it's annoying. Now, one way you can kind of get a foothold on YouTube is post your reels from Instagram as YouTube Shorts. And that helps you build up a library. Yes, it doesn't get shown in your main feed as like a long form video, but shorts are really big on YouTube right now. And I think that's a great place for you to grow.
Huge
So I
on
highly
YouTube
encourage
right
you to lean into that. Dan?
Yes, you finally got around to what I was going to say is shoot in 4K or 8K or whatever you can with the thinking that you're going to crop it down later and share that everywhere else. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels. That's how you do that.
Yeah.
So like when you're filming your long form content for YouTube, you're keeping that in the back of your head that you're going to clip these down. So you want to keep the framing where it's going to work for the vertical format. It's a pain in the butt, but that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do to play the game. You got to follow the rules, I guess. I don't have anything else to add. Pete pretty much nailed everything. He took all my answers, and my lawyers are going to get in touch. Braden?
Lawyers, plural. Yeah, okay.
Well, the other thing too about cropping things down is, and this is something that I've had a lot of problems with, is I will frame my vertical or horizontal for that style, for that orientation. And then when I go to do exactly what you guys are talking about, I'm too close. And so you can't step back afterwards, but you can crop closer. So frame your video like a step back from where you would actually want to frame it, because you can always zoom that in post. That gives you a little bit more room to work with. But
You want to be the Steph. You want to be the Steph Curry of YouTube. You want to take that step back.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. You want to be filming from the 3-point line so that you've got the good video for the dunks. I don't really watch basketball.
The dunks.
I don't know where to go from here.
USA 1 goal. USA.
I will add one thing. You can make 1080p video look really good, especially when you crop it, if it's well lit and doesn't have pixelation. The better your lighting game, and I don't mean like overexposed. I just mean well lit will look better than if you have a grainy video that's kind of dark because the lighting's poor, and then you zoom in and it looks like a potato. The better you light it, the better it's gonna look.
Yes.
I do have one thing to add though, and this wasn't actually part of your question, Sarah, so I apologize for steering us a little further. Your video, like your actual video quality, can be fine. Like you can get away with a lot visually on YouTube. One thing that you can't get away with is audio.
Yeah.
You need to, before you worry about getting any like really crazy camera setups, things like that, obviously dial in your video because it needs to be visually interesting, or else you're going to lose viewers. But dial in your audio, dump money into into your microphones, into just different things. I think Dan has a nice little.
Let me tell you about this mic I found on TikTok Shop for $6.
Bingo.
Commission free since '93.
But yeah, dial in the audio, because studies show just time after time after time that you will lose viewers.
Time after time.
That's right. Give it to me. You'll lose viewers for bad audio. You'll have a lot more forgiveness from viewers with bad video, though.
Yep.
So
True facts.
That's my tip.
Yeah. Bad audio, long pauses, too much Drew Witt, all things that will lose you viewership.
Oh, any Drew Witt, you'll lose viewers.
Yeah, there's a
100%.
right Drew Witt per capita ratio. I don't know it. Look it up. But yeah, it's
2.8.
2.8 Drews per Witt.
Yeah.
Like you look at electrical things and it's all based on wattage. Your videos, you need to get a rating for wittage.
I'm gonna make a ruler that's imperial, metric, and Drew Witt. just different measurements. But like from the space from 0 to 1 and 1 to 2 will be different. I think that's a show title. Drews per Witt. Wrote it down already. All right. Okay. Well, good. Did we answer that? All of us.
Yeah, we're good. I think we answered it. About as good as we're gonna get.
All right. Last questions, plural, and a novelization of his life. This is a voicemail from Alex Adams. Dan, focus, because you did not hear the question in the pre-show. And Alex.
Oh, I heard it.
We gave you 2 questions per episode, but then you went and
we need to give him a
3-minute voicemail.
Just play it at 2 times speed.
I probably can I do that? I don't know. Whatever. Here's Alex Adams.
Hello, Oma Bros plus Peter. It's Alex at Type A Furniture, following up on the.
First of all, I'm an honorary Oma Bro. I don't want to hear it.
He's got the T-shirt to prove it.
Surfacing tear out question that I had, and I did actually follow up with Dan and discuss it with him a little bit more. And it is in fact the streaks of tear out that are following the path of the surfacing bit. And what he had to say is apparently I blew a trammy. It's tramming, or I need to tram. And what that means is that my surfacing bit needs to be perpendicular to the workpiece, and that it's currently off kilter by maybe a couple degrees or something like that. And so I don't know if I'm going to be able to eliminate that issue entirely. So I'm planning on just having to deal with the tear out afterwards by sanding it down. And currently I do that with a 6-inch sander. And my question is about, what are going to be my faster methods of dealing with sanding that tear out? Obviously one route to go is, a larger random orbit sander, kind of like the 11-inch gem, which is in that like $600-700 range. And then stepping up to a drum sander, looking at the, Supermax 2550, the one that has the 25-inch wide open end. So then you can do both sides and you can essentially get just over 4 feet, that being somewhere in that like $2,200 range. And then the final one being, there's an upgrade kit for my router sled that essentially makes it semi-autonomous, where it just pings back and forth and follows a path. And it would be able to, throw on a sanding pad on that and be able to sand as well as, surface, on its own per supervision. And, that upgrade kit is around $4,000. Each kind of have their own pros and cons. Obviously the nice thing about the router sled or the 11-inch sander is that the workpiece is stationary, it being, some of those larger ones that I can have that can be up to 4 foot wide, like headboards and some bigger dining tables. Because in that scenario with the drum sander, it becomes a little bit of a beast to manage. And I'm guessing I might need some in-feed, out-feed support on that so that it's not getting, out of kilter or anything like that as it's going through the drum sander. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think, the pros and cons of going those routes when it comes to sanding those large, wide surfaces that have tear out.
All right, so Alex asks a lot of questions following up on his flattening question from 2 weeks ago, where he's using a flattening bit that is not trammed right. He's getting steps in his flattening of a slab or tabletop or whatever he's doing.
I got to talking with him when we were on the stoop, I think about 2 weeks ago. It was like right after we had our episode, and come to find out it's a tramming issue. And it's not off by a couple degrees. It's off by like a fraction of a degree. Like it doesn't take much. Yeah.
Just enough to make a little step. So then he rattles off a couple different options, ranging from a couple $100 to a couple $1,000 from like wide belt dual drum sanders like the Laguna, whatever, that's like a 36-inch wide or something with dual drums. Then you got, basically he rattles off a bunch of options, including large sanders like the 11-inch Gem, I think Gem is the company that he mentioned. Here's the thing, you can technically get a buffer that's in that size if you want to try to get a cheaper thing and use a buffer to flatten it. I'm just going to say, I'm going to call it out, kind of go back to the OG days, a tool that we haven't mentioned on this show in a long time that probably all of us own at least one of, and that is a belt sander. Just take a belt sander to it. You could flatten it. It's got enough reference area. Obviously, you want to be careful. You want to be tilting back and forth, but you also don't want to be running that thing with an 80 grit in there. But, if you do it right, you can flatten out that slab or tabletop or whatever it might be. But also, if it's a big enough and expensive enough and important enough piece, just put it to work with the 6-inch. That's the other thing. And save yourself the money, because for how often you're going to need to use a wide belt sander or a wide sander, like an 11-inch or 12-inch sander, disc sander, it might not really be worth it. It might just be worth to put in that work once in a while. Or go full Hamilton and put a sander on your CNC and just run it on that. But that being said, you do have to tram it right as well. I don't know. Braden, any suggestions?
I'm going middle. Well, I'm going to be honest. Alex, from now on, it's not you get a 2-question limit and you get a
3 minutes total.
Yeah, 3 minutes total. And the second you get past like 700 words, we're just cutting it off. Hard cut. Wherever it is. Don't make us revisit this next week and get us down to a syllable limit, or I swear I will lose it. I'm going kind of what I
We
think
love
is
you,
like
Alex.
the expensive-ish but middle of the road kind of option. In terms of like most flexibility, I'm going with the drum sander. I love Dan's. I'm so jealous of Dan's 2550. I have the 1632. But a drum sander is like, it's like the cheat code for the workshop. It is one of my favorite tools to use outside of like my robots, but in terms of like just processing stuff, it's a cheat code. Like that's what it is. This is unlimited money, unlimited life in the Sims or whatever. So if you can spring it. Now the problem is, Alex, we've talked about the size of your shop before when we've talked about like dust collection. That 2550, it's a thick boy. It's big. I know that they make two models. The one that you have, Dan, has the really solid base, like you're not moving it model, and then they make one that is on casters. That has kind of like the skeleton frame like mine has. So you could probably play around with those two things, but in terms of like in-feed, out-feed, a lot of people use those like stand rollers that you don't have to like build anything really complex. You could basically just outfeed onto those rollers for when you're doing like really, really big stuff. So I think you could make it work, but big stuff, little stuff, the drum sander is the way to go. Daniel?
Yes, 100%. Get yourself a drum sander, especially if you feel like you're taking this hobby more serious and you're looking to grow your business. You will find other uses for that drum sander. It will not go unused.
Like your planer.
Absolutely. What I'm saying is, like, once you use it for this project or whatever you're working on, it will pay for itself tenfold plus in the coming months or years or whatever. I think we talked about what kind of space you have, and I can't remember. I don't think it's a whole lot of space, but you don't necessarily need the 2550. I mean, you can get the 1938 or the 1632. The 2550 is nice, and you even brought up the fact that with the 50, you can spin it around. I'm going to be honest, I use that rarely. I hardly ever do tabletops where I'm doing half and spinning around the piece and doing the second half because of the open feature. That is so rare.
I think the last time you did it was with my butcher block.
Yeah.
And that was like when you and I had first met. It was like
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. That sounds about right. I think you can get away with a 1938 easily.
Or like a 1632. He could get away with a 1632.
Maybe Braden has ones for sale. I don't know. That might be what he's getting at. But yeah, drum sander. It'll do you a world of good. You won't just need it for this one project. You'll find 100 uses for it. It's a very versatile tool to have in the shop. It's once you get it, you're like, man, how did I get along without this thing? Oh my goodness. Mine has become the most essential tool in my shop. But then again, I'm doing a certain thing that not everybody does. But that's my 39 cents.
Yeah, Dan, your drum sander is almost more important than your CNC
or dust collection.
Your CNC processing.
my drum sander is way more important than my dust collection. That's for sure. Yeah, that's another thing. Actually, if you get a drum sander, you're gonna have to have some sort of dust collection.
No,
I don't know what you got, Alex. But if you get a drum sander, you're gonna need something as far as dust collection goes.
I think if I remember right, he has one of those like wall mounted. He was talking about having one of those wall mounted like Rockler single phase, like the shop box, kind of like what you have.
I'm not 100% sure what he has. So.
I think with anytime you have a drum sander, you want something that has a filter on it, not just a filter bag. Not just that the bag is the filter itself.
It
you want
a lot
something
of fine
with
dust.
Yeah, ideally, like the wall hung ones might be good because some of them have like the bag hangs below and there's an air filter that it goes through. So it might be better, but those things create a lot of dust. You're going to cake that thing up.
They create a lot
fast.
of dust, a lot of fine dust. One of my big complaints with my dust collector is the HEPA filter gets clogged all the time because it creates a lot of fine dust.
Like the drum sander in Dan's shop and the dust collector both create a lot of dust for a shop, but at least the drum sander also flattens stuff.
It's true.
So you know that's kind of outweighs the.
All right. Did he ask any other questions, or was that basically it?
Yeah,
that was his 30-minute.
One more. Here we go, Dan. This is for me and you.
Okay.
Hello, fellow wood daddies. It's Alex at Type A Furniture, and I saw that Harvey has introduced their new top-of-the-line dust collector system, and I was curious if Dan is going to get it just so that he can one-up Peter. And speaking of IWF, Peter, I know you couldn't go because you were doing something more important, bringing a child into the world with Emma. And just make sure to remind Emma how important that was by saying that you couldn't go to IWF, and she'll really appreciate how much you were willing to sacrifice to be there. So that'll be a great reminder for her of how dedicated you are.
Oh yeah, definitely hanging it over my kid's head that I couldn't go to IWF. Totally. Yeah.
Ooh, you could CNC out like a cute little sign, or laser out like a cute little sign that says, "I love you more than IWF," and then hang it up in the nursery.
Asterisk at the end. See below. But Dan, you getting that new dust collector? That's a big.
No, I don't give two craps about one-upping people, Peter or not. I buy tools that help me out. Like, I mean, if
okay, bigger truck boy.
How big are your wheels?
Well, they're stock wheels.
Dan wants to one up, but the only person Dan ever wants to one up is himself.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care about
the
anything else.
dealership.
I want to.
He just wants to one up the dealership. That's it.
Gosh, you guys railroaded me. I don't know what I was talking about.
We're talking about
dust collection.
Your dust collection.
Oh yeah, my dust collection is awful, and I do want the Harvey, and I sort of started talking with them a couple weeks ago, but then IWF started, and I didn't want to bother them too much because I know they got a lot of stuff on their plate for that. So I might reopen that conversation. I'd be happy with the G700 at this point, but I'm going to be honest, bigger is better. So, although I was just telling you to get a smaller drum sander.
I was going to say bigger is better, except when it comes to drum sanders. By the way, I have a 1632 that may be available.
Dust collection, definitely important.
Yeah. Braden?
I'm not part of this question. I'm not.
He's not part of this question. No, you keep.
But you are
shut.
a wood daddy. You said.
No.
You said.
No, this was a Pete Dan dust collector rivalry question.
Pete was mentioned. It was a Dan question.
I want nothing to do with this one.
I don't want blood on my hands. I don't want dust on my hands.
I don't want that Paduke dust.
So that was it for questions, and I'm just gonna quickly rattle off this one section that we kind of breezed over.
Good news, everyone.
But we had a couple of news things written down. IWF obviously happened this week. There's a lot of cool things. I'm gonna shout out Logan Newman. He did a lot of great stories from the booths. A lot of your followers probably did. Just check out your feed of really cool tools. They would stop at the booths and got to get an interview of things happening. I saw the vacuum system for the Onefinity table. Really cool.
Air weights?
The air weights, thank you. I think that's really cool. Worth checking out. Apparently, Shaper Origin is doing their V1 machines. They're on heavy discount right now. If you're looking to pick one
refurbished,
which basically new. I mean,
Brand
it's got a warranty and everything. Go check it out if you're interested in one. Festool's releasing their exosuit. If you don't know what we're talking about, go check it out. Festool's got this literally battery-powered exosuit to help you.
It's
for
basically
drywallers
a suit
and painters.
From what I understand from our pre-show, it's basically a suit that will prop you up, and you can basically die. And it could like walk you around like
it's a weekend at Bernie's.
Festool at Bernie's.
Festool at Bernie's. It's great. And like, here's the thing.
Sign me up.
A part of it, first time I saw it, I was like, this is a gimmicky as hell. Is this an April Fool's
thought it was
thing?
an April Fool's joke at first.
But if you're doing any kind of painting or drywalling and your arms are up above your heart level all day, it starts to really wear on you. And this is actually really cool. And we've seen this before with like Hilti. They have a backpack that has a crane over the top so that you can hold their massive drills and literally remove the entire weight of the drill. So things like that. It's really cool that this is becoming kind of more mainstream for job sites.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
There is a joke in there. We saw one thing that kind of jumped off the page for me was Oliver, who's like a new brand of machinery. They released a 15-inch helical head benchtop planer. 15-inch. It's a 220 volt machine. And again, helical head. This is, I think, a direct competitor to the 735 from DeWalt. Obviously, it's probably going to be priced way higher because it's a bigger machine, bigger voltage, more power. But there's nothing really in that category in a benchtop that doesn't come on like a cast iron stand that costs $3,000 and up, so it's going to be really interesting to see. I want to see the pricing on this thing. And if it's anywhere around like $1,000, I'm going to honestly consider it.
I'm willing to bet it's near 15.
It's probably a little more, but I'm really curious to see what it is. Because Oliver, again, it's not an expensive brand. They're kind of, their whole thing is like, they're newer to the game. They make some decent tools, and it's a lot of it has been stuff that we've seen before. It's the first time we've seen something that's like, okay, this is a new size. I like it. Right.
This is all speculation, obviously.
It's all speculation.
You mentioned that one was a 220 volt. Did you happen to see the wattage of it?
2.8 Drew Witts.
Oh, 2.8 Drew Witts. Yeah. It's Drews per Witt squared.
Oh, I screwed that up.
That's it. And then one last thing that I'll kind of shout out is Prusa 3D, the 3D printer company that has kind of, some people will say, well, has fallen by the wayside because Bamboo came out and got all this fancy features and everything. Bamboo's also gotten into some hot water over the last couple of weeks. I think, listen, these machines are incredible. They're great. I have one. I love it. I'm going to be buying more of them eventually. But you got to give credit where credit is due. Prusa had just upgraded their Mark IV to the Mark IVS. And the one feature that people kind of skip over, granted, they're not priced right, but it is open source. And all of their machines, if you have a 2.5 or a Mark II, there's an upgrade path to take your current machine all the way up to the newest one. They do sell kits for that. You can get them third party as well for some upgrades. And they're supporting a lot more modding these days. So you can actually get a fourth axis where it's a 3D printer that has a 45-degree nozzle that actually rotates around and prints at an angle. Really cool stuff. So I do got to give them some credit that despite being kind of knocked down as the king of 3D printing for a while, they're still at it and they're still trying to make some really great open source products. So I will give them a shout out. I've been using Prusa for years and I get no kickback for this. This is not like an ad for them. But it's cool to see.
I get kickback. Keep going.
Yeah, it's cool to see a brand still trying to innovate on top of what they're doing. They're not just like, hey, we're just going to keep pushing this simple thing. Like, hey, it's open source. Anyone can mod it. Anyone can make it. You can get third-party parts. You can't do that with Bamboo. So that's one thing they do have going for them. And I do appreciate it. And I think that's it. And then we had a baby. That's maker news, I guess. Yeah.
Real quick, this kind of builds on just talking about 3D printing, but did you see the Stratasys
what did you call me? Yeah. So Stratasys came out of nowhere. So they're more of a industrial printing side of things. They essentially they're suing Bamboo Labs for several patent infringements, but some of them are a little frivolous, like hot bed or heated bed infringement, which every modern printer has these days. So I'm interested to see where this goes. At the end of the day, here's the thing: you can't really gatekeep too much in this community. Like, these things need to get better. 3D printers suck. They should be better. They can be better, but there's a lot of technology that's actually behind patents in some of these more industrial processes. And there's a lot more that can get done. There's a lot more of these printers that can have access to some of these features, but they're kind of locked down behind some lawsuits. So we'll see how things play out over the next couple months. I'm interested to see where this goes. Basically,
I've seen a 3D printer that can print in chocolate. I think that we've kind of reached peak technology with 3D printers. I don't see it going
Dan's
anywhere
very
better.
interested.
I almost fell asleep, but tell me what?
It's Cocoa Press.
I don't, for some reason, when I was trying to think of like what foods you could 3D print with, I just in my head was thinking macaroni and cheese 3D printing, and I don't know what is happening, but I might be hungry.
Yeah, Dan, it's that's not a lie.
You can print in chocolate.
If
not
you look up
macaroni and cheese.
Cocoa Press, I'm sending you the link right now. You can 3D print with chocolate and then eat it after you're done.
Oh, that's something I could have mentioned in my What's on My Bench. Dan is no longer currently at this moment a 3D printer boy.
Oh yeah,
I stole his 3D printer.
That is correct. I forgot about that.
Yep.
It's gotten more use time in the last week than it did the entire time Dan owned it. By like triplicate.
What are you gonna do?
I'm sure. So when did I buy that thing? Like a couple months ago, right? It still had the same roll of PLA that came with the machine, and I think it was like a half roll. Like, I mean, we didn't.
That's a lot of roll on there. A lot of roll.
In contrast, have burned through 2 rolls of filament in the week that I've had it.
Well, I'm glad it's working.
It's nice. Working great.
Fantastic.
Well, that's it. That's kind of the rattled off good news, everyone.
Good news, everyone.
Guys, we're right at like an hour and a half. I think this is great. We're trying to stay on
man.
track. We made a New Year's resolution at the end of July to not go over 2.5 hours again.
New Year's in July.
I never once committed to that goal.
Well, listen, it was Christmas in July, then the 30th was New Year's or 31st.
I think we should hit 3 hours.
No.
In 2 weeks, yes. Well, with that, I want to thank our sponsor, Bits+Bits. Use code AWP at checkout for a discount and get some of that AstraHP coated goodness from Bits+Bits, and join the family. And Dan, is there someone you would like to thank as well?
My Lord and Savior, Jesus. He picks.
Is he one of the patrons?
Street. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was one of our patrons.
I do want to thank all of our patrons. You guys help us tremendously. You have no idea. If you want to join the army, you can go over to patreon.com/anotherwoodshop podcast and get signed up over there. We offer all sorts of different fun things and such. Go check it out.
All kinds of tiers.
Everything is content.
Everything is content. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. I think that's it, right? We got nothing else? Next week, we might have a guest. Who the heck knows? I don't know. We're all kind of discombobulated because we forgot it was Thursday again.
This is all loosey-goosey. We don't know what we're doing.
Loosey-goosey at best. But we'll see you guys next week. If there is a guest, we will do a post about it. And love you all. Bye, 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 bye.
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 Love you long time.